Hello.
Hello.
Hey, man.
We are live, man.
Here.
What the fuck is going on, guys? You guys are live right now on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking radio. We just got done blasting Blood Moon Hymm, and that shit is bad fucking ass, man. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was digging. I was grooving on it too, real big time. I love that song.
Man, what the hell did you guys smoke fucking doing that shit, man?
I don't know, banana peels, I believe it was. There wasn't any candy. Sorry, no candy.
That was our first song we wrote in 6/8 time.
Man.
And
so
it was a new experience for us.
Yeah,
that song was all pretty much done by bass and drums. I was working real late, and I came home and they had that whole groove down, and I just threw guitar on it, you know.
Yeah, not only did we have the groove down, we had all the lyrics down, and we just changed the chorus just a tiny bit, and then Anthony just hit it, man. It was like I'm not a singer, but I just had the melody in my head, and he figured out what I was trying to sing, and it just went from there.
Well, you guys nailed it, man. Like, it's got everything in there, dude. Like, what I really love is that blues fucking guitar playing that you're doing in the mix of it, man. Like, it takes it, you know, it's like, it's not just fucking doom metal, but like, it's also got so many other elements. It's very, it stands out. It's unique in the world of doom metal, you know, cause I know, like, I keep saying doom metal, but you know how it is with genres and stuff. Like, sometimes things can get blended so much, but like, you guys definitely have your own sound, man, and it's fucking cool, dude. And
me and Tommy were talking when toward the end of recording this, and we were talking about what genre and is, you know, and doom, stoner, but really we came up like, this is the blues metal.
Yeah.
You know, this is the heavy blues, you know, heavy rhythm, way more bluesy licks, and that's what we came up with, you know. That's what, if I were to give it a genre, I'd say blues metal. Because, you know, all my guitar playing, like, I'm a blues player.
And it's got a good groove to it, too, man, and those fucking drums, dude. God damn it, man. I still remember when you guys played the first Metal Fest, dude. Fucking, we were laughing because the fucking drums were so fucking loud and heavy, dude. It was kicking us in the fucking chest, man. And me and one of my buddies, JD from Soma Irot, man, we were standing in front and watching you guys, and he was saying, yeah, man, those fucking drums right there. It was those acrylic drums that you had, man. I don't know if it was because it was that kind of drum set or what, like, or just the way that Richie had it mic'd up or what, man. But that shit sounded so fucking, just fucking devastating, man. It was fucking cool, dude.
I think it was both, because the attack on the acrylics is really loud, and that guy Richie knew what he was doing so much that it was the perfect combination. On this album, we used I ended up getting an endorsement from SJC Drums, and it was a warmer sound, but it was heavier. Not as much attack, but just deeper, bassier. So, yeah, on this song, you know, something happens to me when I play it. I just get such an endorphin release that on this particular song, on Miss in Judgment, I'm just like, I'm so freaking happy when I play this. I just feel it like flow over my body, all the adrenaline and endorphins.
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing, like, I really like about the song that it shows on, like, if you just let the bass and the drums work out a groove, you know, like, it's such a big breath fresh of air as a guitarist to come in and just kind of play whatever he wants to put on top of it, you know, because everything, the whole structure of the song is already done, so you can freely just kind of put whatever you want, you know. It just makes it so much easier.
Hell yeah.
It turns out so good.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah, dude. You know, speaking of breath of fresh air, man, I gotta ask, dude, or I gotta say, you know, like, I know, Patrick, you just recently went through majorly fucking scary fucking health fucking scare, and we were all rooting for you, dude. And you came out, man. Like, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, thank you. In 2020, I got sick with kidney disease. I got diagnosed, and I was in stage 5, and I worked myself up through diet and exercise to stage 3, and I thought that. And I was actually got so healthy, I was removed off the transplant list. But then I got sick again. I caught a food bug and a flu that just wiped out my kidneys. And I fought really hard. I went on one tour. On between every 2 cities, I would do a dialysis treatment, and that was really rough. And I was playing in 2 bands during that final tour that we did on the dialysis, and that was really rough. Luckily, my cousin gave me his kidney. I mean, the guy's awesome. He's my hero, and the kidney I have is amazing. It's working great, and I'm off dialysis, and I couldn't be happier. I just feel so good that part of my life is over. Part of this song, I was getting real sick, and I was worried because I knew we had the album coming up that we had to record. And I just kept on thinking, man, am I going to make it? Am I going to make it? I had the doctors calling me, trying to set me up for dialysis, and I was hiding from them. I was dodging their calls because I knew we had to make the album. I knew we had tours coming up. And we did a 4-day run out to Wisconsin. And I remember I started not being able to eat. I started losing a lot of weight. I couldn't sleep. And I knew I was at the end. And I knew that was going to happen. Man. And I knew I had about a month and a half left before I would go if I didn't go on dialysis. So we quick went on another tour and then got the album done. But during that time, the fall was coming. I was riding my bike through the orchards. And I'm just watching the whole, the harvest. And a friend of mine had died in high school. And I just got notified. It was the nicest guy in the world. And it just made me feel like, shit, man, am I going to be here next year? Am I going to be the next guy to go? And that negative thought came into my head, and it was cold. It was getting dark earlier. And it took me about 10 minutes to write this whole song. I actually stopped on my bike, wrote everything down in notes, had practice with our bass player. My brother shows up. I had the melody in my head from the bike ride. I rode 20 miles thinking about this song, and then boom, it just came through. So yeah, the kidney disease, my friend's death, and our whole situation, and wondering if I was going to be around anymore, was all tied into this Blood Moon Hymm. Wow, man. Well, you came through, dude, and you made it, man. You fucking we're so glad you're still here with us, dude. And thank you. I gotta say, man, it was kind of funny. Like during that whole time, I remember seeing you never stopped fucking promoting and doing your thing and like being you. And I remember you were constantly pushing MDPR too, because you helped me with that too as well. And I was sitting there like thinking like, what the fuck, man? This guy, he's fucking. You're something else, dude. That's fucking awesome, though, man. Nobody nobody expected that, or nobody, it would have been totally understandable to take time off and just go away from everything for a bit. But you didn't want to do that. You just kept on pushing through and going forward. And I just want you to know, man, we fucking noticed that shit and we saw it, dude, and we appreciate that, man. Thanks, man. There was no time to sit around and feel sorry for myself. I had to be there for myself. I had to stay busy, and I had to be there for my band and my bandmates. And that was part of my higher purpose, man. And that's what drove me to be. I made a mantra. My name is Patrick Salerno. I'm hard to kill, and I'm not going to let it kill me. Hell yeah, man. So tell us about this new record coming out, man. What was the recording process like for this one? I know you guys worked pretty closely with Tommy on this one. Can you tell us what that was like?
It was pretty easy. I mean, when it came to getting patched drums tracks, I mean, me and him just went in. I was on my guitar and I was singing, and we just played everything raw, like right through. We half of it was done with a click track, you know, because the type of band we are, it's like we have so many like tempo changes and organic things, you know, where like a click track will kind of mess it up. So I remember some of the songs like Dead Soul Eyes, for instance, half of it was done with the click track, and then I think Tommy realized we started to drift away from it, so we turned it down on the headphones, thank God. And then after that, I mean, it was just so smooth because we practiced these songs so much. I mean, between me, Brendan, Pat, you know, it was pretty much first take, and we got it done a lot quicker than we thought we would.
So we have a theory, or we have in this band, we just don't write these songs and then go and record them. We write the songs and then play the shit out of them on the road and on tours. And then what happens is the songs organically develop as you play them on the road in front of live audiences. Not that we see what works in front of a live audience, but we season them through live performances. And that actually helps a lot when you go into the studio because you know what not to change and you know the song is done. Any changes or adjustments you've made on the road.
Yeah, that totally makes sense, man. There's nothing wrong with that at all, man. Like, you know, fucking, you know, it's, I mean,
we play the song so much, they're second nature.
Hell yeah.
I mean, on the way down to Tommy's, we did a whole tour out of it. So pretty much every night on the way down to Tommy's, we were playing. So we went in there just more than warmed up, you know.
Hell yeah. Tommy, what was it like having these guys in your studio doing this?
Yeah, we allotted about 7 days was my estimate of what it would take. I kind of had it all mapped out of 2 days for drums and this and that, you know, times and stuff. But they came in, they knew it so well. They really knocked it out. I know on Blood Moon Hymm, I was just thinking, I really love the rhythm of it. And I think Tony knocked it out of the park with his passionate vocal rendering. I mean, he's really thrown himself into it. I think he only did it twice. Is that correct?
Yep.
I could actually go back and look because I have every single track still. I actually can bring it up right now. I'm looking at it. But
we had the scratch track whenever we recorded for Pats, and then the day whenever we did vocals.
I know you couldn't. I know you were really pushing your throat on that, and I was kind of afraid if you did it too many times you wouldn't have any throat left. So I was you know, I was sitting there like going, do it this time, just be the one time because you're going to run out of
I had to
about 10 of those. You won't be able to talk for a week, and we had other things to do too. So what was cool, that was cool, but here's what I thought was cool too. I was just now listening to this when it was on the radio, and I remembered I was sitting here listening. I'm sitting in the same spot in the studio with the same speakers. It sounds a little different and all, but what was cool is so he did all the guitar leads in there. He played through the song, and just whenever there was spots he wanted to drop in lead parts, he did. And then he went back and said, I can do it better. So he went back and did it again. All right, everybody left. And I sat there and listened to it, and both of them to me were really good. Both of the leads through the whole song, little lead parts, and the main part of the lead. But then I got to listen to it, and I was like, man, so I separated it left and right. And when they came in, I said, listen to this. And so both of the leads go arounds are on, we kept them. So they're both in there. And it just sounds so ominous and so awesome to have them both in there. I know it's kind of an early Black Sabbath trick to do that. But he wasn't trying to duplicate them. He actually played different parts. Not only, he was just playing what he felt, there's the proof right there in having them left and right. You can hear that one time he does something over here, one time he does something over there. And that wasn't in his plan. And he just came back in. I said, listen to this. And there it all is. And we were all like, whoa. So that's one of my favorite things about that song is how that came out.
Yeah, and the production of this, you know, it sounds very much like how they sound live, too, which is a really hard thing to capture on records, you know, and make it work in a studio. I know, but like, how did you do that? Like, were there any special tricks or anything that you threw in there to get that, or was it just sort of by accident? Or
I don't know. Sometimes I always think I always feel like I'm overproducing. I tried to make sure not to overproduce them.
Yeah,
I always feel like I am overproducing, and then when the things come out that I've recorded, albums and this, I'm always seeing this feedback of writers saying it sounds so raw, and I'm like going, raw? I thought it was overdone. There's all kind of crap in the background. It's not on this song. Somewhere in this song, I remember I threw in, and I'm the one that did it. There's vibra slap in there somewhere, and adding little stuff like that all through it. That's where I tend to go, okay, don't overdo it, and have it way in the background, and little pieces of ear candy and all that. But I wanted to make sure that these guys were all kind of up front with everything. Not so much and even where you could hear everything. I hate it when something's disappearing and you're like, where'd the kick go? But I don't want it to take over either. So it's kind of a fine balance. But with these guys, I think it was important to be fairly upfront. Not so much, I'm usually kind of a reverb monster, but with them, I didn't want to go that route. I wanted it to sound like you're almost in the room with them.
You know, and that's a hard thing. I don't think a lot of people realize, like, how hard it is to make everything, you know, when you're capturing a band, everybody playing their parts, to make it all come out and all of it be front forward, you know, like where you can hear every little fucking thing of it, you know, because sometimes that shit can just fucking, it can override each other. Yeah,
also you want all the instruments, and including the separate drums and everything, I wanted them to all sound like they were in the same place, not like one guy's on a mountaintop, but the rest of them are right in front of you. And that's a mistake I hear sometimes in production, I feel like, is especially on drums, you'll hear like the snares like right there in your face when you're listening to it, and the rest of the drums are somewhere way back there. I'm like, it doesn't even sound real.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are y'all doing? You must have had an octopus for a drummer. You know, it's like, and they'll throw like one tom way over to the right, and they've got the four tom way over on the left, and I'm like, they're not that panned out in real life. I try to make it a little bit bigger than normal, but with them, I wanted to keep it like you're there.
How many mics?
Kind of tight.
How many mics did you use on the drums?
13 on the drums, but that's
Holy
because
shit.
I used two room mics.
See?
2 overhead mics. Okay, I had a mic under the snare, over the snare, but I ended up not using the one under the snare because there's so much being picked up by everywhere else. I just wanted to make sure the snare sounded like it was in the middle.
Yeah.
And then each tom, I think the hi-hat was close mic, and the rod is close mic with all this mostly with Audix. And the 2 crash cymbals that he was using are not mic because the overheads are basically directly over them and facing down, but about 3 or 4 feet up. So it's probably way more than you needed to care about knowing, but I can name the mics.
No,
but there's 13 for them, and I think, and then one for vocal, one for. But after we add in some backup vocals and all that, it probably ends up being not a lot, but I think most of the sessions were like 25 to 40 tracks. The only reason is because there's tracks that has like one vibra slap hit on it, or one shaker. But the fun thing, we didn't have a shaker. There was a couple of songs where I wanted a shaker on it, in just a part or two. Didn't have one. So what I did is I had my BB gun from when I was a kid here, and loaded it up with BBs, and I sat here and mic'd the BB gun and shook it. That was the shaker.
That's cool as hell, man. Hell yeah. What about the guitars and bass? Did you actually mic the cabs too on that, or did you go direct?
Yeah, the bass was definitely mic'd, and I believe the guitars were mic'd. I'd have to look it up. I might have ran a couple of things through a Positive Grid modeled amp on there, but I can't remember. That's not unusual. to do, but
that's cool as hell, man. But like,
I probably did because I have like every set of Celestian speakers on there, and I've got mics on there, and I can move them around virtually and whatever. So probably some of it was done like that, and I'm pretty sure. Gosh, I can't remember. I'd have to pull it up. There's so much stuff. Yeah, because I kind of use a mix and match. It just depends. I just need the sound to happen. I don't really care where it comes from. Just try one thing. If that's not quite it, do something else. If that's not it, do something else. And I know what'll work. This will work. I got it.
One thing I know the gearheads all want to know is like, what kind of amps and pedals were you guys using to get those tones, man?
So I'm using an Orange Pro Crush 120 4x4 cab. And then I have as far as my fuzz, my distortion, that's I'm using a Dunwich Fuzz Throne. And
fuck yeah.
Dude, that thing fucking makes me sound like a monster, dude.
So
I've been using that one for a while.
So you're using the solid state orange?
Yes. Yup. I use solid state, dude. I know when I tell people it's solid state on the road, their minds are blown. They're like, "That's a solid state." Like, yup.
Dude, I love it when I hear people say that they're using solid states because I mean I know tubes are fucking like there's a whole thing about them, but like. When you can fucking when somebody uses a solid state and they make some shit that's fucking solid, it's like what the fuck, dude? You can't fucking deny it, man. That shit works too, man.
And dude, oh yeah, and it works out too because my amp's like a tank, I don't got to worry about tubes breaking.
Yeah.
On the road,
Oh hell yeah.
And I'm using a Schecter She-Devil, a C1 She-Devil, and then a Schecter Solo. On those, I use both guitars for it. But yeah, dude, I mean, I've been using the same gear for a minute, and when it comes to my gear, I like to keep everything simple. Actually, over the years, like I've gotten rid of pedals because I really just don't use them as much. I use a whammy pedal and a reverb, and then my Dunwich, and that's pretty much it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man. Well, another thing I wanted to ask you guys about is the artwork on this record is really cool, and it's really cool on my end as well. Like as a promoter, like the fact that you guys have different artwork for each single so far, like that's really really cool, man. Because it gives everybody a different visual, and I think that's really cool. But who did the artwork for all this shit, man? Because it's fucking awesome.
The artist is Steven Yoyada. And he is this. We wanted to have continuity throughout all the art and have the same artist, so that's who we use. And he's just amazing. He's done stuff for like Weed Eater, Clutch, so many other bands.
Yeah.
He does stuff for Liquid Death. We're really lucky to have him. He just did the Grand Rapids Doom Fest. I mean, it's like almost what hasn't he done?
That's cool as hell, man. That is fucking
cool. I remember getting back to the tones. Our former bass player that was on the album, Brendan, we have a new one now, Luke. And Brendan and I were big Typo Negative fans. And we had told Tommy, look, I want the Typo Negative drum sound. Yeah. And Brendan wants the Typo Negative bass sound. And Tommy's like, sure, I can do that.
Hell yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's what we did, right, Tommy?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. I have, I actually did bring it up because I even have it written on here. Bass keep, main track distort type O-ish. And I used bias amp 2 on him. So Brendan is actually using yes, he's actually using an amp I have that I have set to be somewhat like Pete Steele. Yeah,
that's awesome.
That I modeled in here just to do that and to mix it in with that. There's actually one too. So he's also running. I also had him do a clean track separate. That's low in the mix. So there's actually 2 bass tracks simultaneously. One's type O-ish, the other one is clean. And I remember telling him to hit whole notes and half notes for that. Don't play every note, and I'll bring that in low. And I'm looking here at all the guitar we were talking about. That's all Tony or Anthony. That's all Anthony. There's no flown in stuff there. I just got some EQ and reverb and stuff like that, but I don't have any positive gradient. That's all your amps. That's all your stuff.
Yeah, and
just
one thing how I set up my guitar and is when it comes to the bass on my fuzz pedal is cranked all the way up, and the bass on the head is cranked all the way, just about cranked all the way up. Mids and trebles are high.
Hell yeah!
Because I believe using that bass, especially with the neck pickup, I still get that punch, and the bass cleans out my tone. So I still get that really heavy tone, but it's clean. And I feel like bass cleans out a heavy distorted tone.
I love how warm your tone is, even when it's in the distorted rhythm parts. You can still hear everything. It's a nice distortion. It's not crunched up like it's playing through a broken speaker. It's good, but it's low toned. How do you set your guitar, your actual guitar knobs for your tone? Do you have them like I just turn them all the way?
All the way up.
Yeah, that's the way I do mine too. Yeah, I just turn them all the way up, and I do everything from the pedals. But yeah, I was wondering that because you have a great rhythm sound, and that's all you, man, on that recording. There ain't nothing extra on there. I mean, I got like the tiniest bit of somewhere around 4K. I'm pushing you up at about 3 dB. That's it. Really conservative.
Yeah, and it's so crazy how full that song sounds. Blood Moon Hymm, just like all the other ones, and we're just 3 instruments. And it's just like I'm not trying to overcomplicate things with my guitar. And it just sounds so much more full.
Yeah,
trying to keep things a little bit more simple,
It sounds fucking massive, dude. I fucking love it, man. Fucking yeah, dude. Tell us about the lyrics and stuff on some of these songs, man. Like, what kind of stuff are you guys talking about? What's the themes that are going on this new record?
Yeah, well, there's a song called Dead. Yeah, because we'll probably be locked up after this, either in jail or like a psych ward. I told you what Blood Moon Hymm was about, just, the reaper and the harvest of the soul and the physical harvest and the changing the season. But we have a song called Dead Soul Eyes. And through my regular job, I came in contact with a killer and a guy that had killed somebody, and had a private conversation with him, and then a private conversation with someone who'd once worked with them. On a deep revelation of what happened. And I remember when I met this person that I felt such evil coming through their eyes. And I knew that this person had killed the person. It was a convicted person. And the way he killed this person and the joy that he got from it, all my hair on my arm just stood up and everything. Like, I've never looked into someone's eyes and just felt so much blackness and emptiness and void. And all I thought was like, man, that guy has dead soul eyes. And my brother comes up with this song, and we had a song sitting around for a few years, and we just couldn't find the right words for it. And as he's playing it, I just started thinking in my mind, oh my God, dead soul eyes. And I told him, and then he ran with it. We wrote some stuff down. He worked on it, and he came up with the final lyrics for everything and put it all together. And then one of the songs is called Bulldog 44, and I had really gotten into this documentary about Son of Sam and the murders out in New York. So I started studying everything and seeing what that was about. And so I got so into it that I felt inspired to just write about it. And I wrote it from the perspective of Son of Sam and him killing people.
That is cool as hell, dude. I just want to say, like, I'm a huge fan of fucking true crime documentaries and like stuff like that about all that kind of shit. Like, I follow all that stuff. I'm very much into all that shit. I love that, dude. Like,
Yeah,
that's really
it's
cool
awesome.
that you did that.
Yeah, and then that song "Dead Soul Eyes." Every time I'm live, before I sing it, I'm like, yeah, and this one before I announce it, like, yeah, this one's about being fucked up in the head from killing people. I get cool reactions from the audience sometimes.
Tell me about Sativa Bomb.
Sativa Bomb. That's my song. That song's about weed. Pretty much, Sativa's my favorite. You know, anything sativa, because that's the type of weed I like. You know, because that's the creative, mental uplifting things that you smoke. And man, I wrote that song. I think that's the quickest song I ever wrote. I just sat down and Pat kept saying, "Dude, write a song about weed. Write a song about weed." And I came up with that little riff. I'm like, "Fuck it." So I just put together all the strands. You know, like I mentioned, like Jack Pine and Blue Dream and Green Crack and Headband. You know, I just throw it all in there. So fucking just it was kind of. I'm like, dude, this is our 6-pack. So like, fuck it.
So my brother comes up with this. Tony, my brother. We're brothers, by the way, for anybody that doesn't know.
And I have 2 names.
Yeah, Tony and Anthony. So he comes up with.
Family calls me Anthony, friends call me Tony.
Yeah, so it's hard for me to call him Tony. But anyway, so he comes up with this crazy riff, and sometimes he comes up, and this is real band stuff. This is stuff that, you know, people don't. People need to hear this, because this is the real life, not phony stuff. He comes up with these riffs, and as a drummer, sometimes they're in no time signature at all, but it sounds good. And I'm like, I'm trying to figure out, like, okay, well, that sounds really cool, but how the fuck am I supposed to play to that? You know what I mean? So he comes up with this da 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 down 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 bump down 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 down, and then I'm figuring, like, he says, "Come on, can you play with that?" And so I'm like, "Yeah, the best I can do is this." And then I'm like, "Hey, hold on, maybe this is just the thing." So he comes up with, like, he comes up with Bomb, or I'm like, was it you or I that came up with Sativa Bomb?
It was me.
It was him. He said, yeah, let's call it Sativa Bomb. And I'm like, yeah, what if you do this part, Sativa Bomb? And it was like, I felt like we were writing a jingle for a commercial, you know, like the hook. Because I'm all about the hook. And he's looking at me like, are you crazy? Like, that is some corny shit. And I'm like, no, man, it works. And I'm like, I'm going to die on this hill because that Sativa Bomb goes there. You know what I mean? And so he sings it a couple times, and then he's like, and then I saw on his face, like, yeah, he realized that, yeah, this does fit, you know? And then he comes up with a really great groove, for the rhythm for the groove. And I felt like, you know what, dude? We just wrote the modern day version of 6-Pack from Black Flag. We just wrote the weed version of that. In this dark album where probably half of it is about it's death, because I'm fucking dying, man. If I don't find a kidney, I'm not going to be around soon. So, and that's where my head was at, and plus all the other shit a bit dark about us. Sativa Bomb is like this fun fucking song that I'm glad is on there, because it lightens the setup, and it lightens the album up. Because people light up.
That's right. What lightens you up is you light up.
Fuck yeah,
it's
man.
a commercial.
That is badass.
In the middle of the album, there's a commercial for pot.
That's badass. And you guys also did a cover of White Room on this, man. Can you tell us about that? Like, how did that come about?
Oh my God! So Pat's always pushing for a cover. You know, he says, let's do a cover. And we pushed them around, and so we decided to come up with White Room, you know, because, I mean, that's a good song. And we're writing it, and the only thing I remember drastically changing is the fact that in the first verse, we go real slow with it, and I just let the bass and the drums go, and I throw a little bit of bluesy guitar riffs on there. When we were practicing, I have my phone recording everything, you know, so I can take it and I can listen to it. When they were playing, I stopped playing the guitar, And I went back and I was listening to it, and I heard it without the guitar, just bass and the drums, and I was thinking, like, God, what if this was slowed down, and just real groovy and slow, and, like, it would keep it in the 60s, It would keep that sound, so. And then after that, I just, everything else I just plugged up and just play it harder, too.
Here's why I like it, Zach. So, I was like, of course, like everybody in this genre, I'm into Black Sabbath, right? But I grew up as a kid in the 70s and the 80s, and so I grew up in the New York City area, right outside of New York, near Staten Island in New Jersey, and so I had WPLJ I'm listening to, and they're always playing, all the good classic rock, Hendrix, Cream, all that stuff, The Who, the Beatles, right? So whenever this song would come on, it just hit hard. And I always liked this as a kid. And then finally, I hear Black Sabbath, right? So as I got into Sabbath, I thought about what was Sabbath listening to that motivated them. And of course, I read these interviews that this is what was motivating Sabbath to go heavy. And then you're listening to the one dude from Slayer. He had never heard music like this. And he says, man, I was listening to, like, the Moody Blues, Cream, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So that's, I guess they call it proto or stuff. I hate genre labeling, by the way, because music is music. You know what I mean? And it's all good.
Right.
But to me, so White Room always hit, but to me it's hard, but I felt it wasn't hard enough. And I felt that what Ginger Baker was doing on the drums, I felt there needed to be a delay to it, and it needed to stand out a little more. So, of course, I wanted to slow the whole song down throughout the whole thing. And we tried that, and I'm like, man, this is really boring. I was like, it's got to pick up. You can't play this at like how we do the first verse, because otherwise it's just going to be a snooze fest, man. But the way we pick it up, we give it feeling, and we just pick it up we go straight from that chorus that's slow straight into the verse, full speed, and people aren't expecting that. And what I did as a drummer, I took on the verse or on the chorus. I took what Ginger Baker was doing, but I made it more Motown with that groove. And I was like, yeah, what Baker's doing good, but I'm going to accentuate it more. Whatever he took, there was a good part that I really like what he did. I accentuated it more, and I screwed with the tempos a little bit in order to just make it heavier and harder.
Hell yeah. It came out sounding fucking badass, dude. I fucking love it, man. And speaking of that,
thing that's
I'm sorry. Go ahead, man.
I said, what I was doing with the guitars on that, though, Tom, you mentioned earlier left and right. I put 2 rhythm tracks on that. One rhythm track is in D standard, and the other rhythm track is in drop C.
Wow.
Yeah, because I forgot to change the tuning before the song one time, and I actually had to reconfigure how to play it in drop C. And I couldn't figure out which way I wanted to play it, and the tone's slightly different, and then we just came up with the idea of putting it in each end, D in one end, C in the other.
That's cool as hell, man. That is really cool. And I gotta say, man, the merch also that you guys have been fucking selling, dude, which I ordered one of those white shirts, man, because that shit was badass. And I was talking to Tommy about it at the bar the night before the festival. We were talking about it, and he was saying that you guys were thinking about doing a fucking shirt for that. I was like, yeah, dude, do it in white, man. I'll buy it. I fucking ordered that shit the other day, man. I can't wait to get it, dude. The Clockwork Orange fucking thing, man, that's so badass, dude.
I'm sending it out tomorrow. And that art, because you know what? I go on the Bandcamp, then I saw your order pop up, and I'm like, how'd I miss that? I've been checking it every day, so I apologize. It'll be sent out tomorrow.
It's all good, dude.
But with that artwork, I told Steve, and I go, look, man, I want to do this Clockwork Orange, but don't take it totally the whole way, but put like Grave Next Door in the Clockwork Orange font, and we're big fans of that movie. I just read the book again.
Oh yeah,
and
Stanley Kubrick, man.
What I did is because that movie came out about the same time that the song did, a couple years after, and I just wanted to, I kind of wanted to respect that era of time when that song was relevant, and and get the artwork back in there too to that era.
It works, man. It totally works, dude.
Thanks, bro.
Hell yeah. So tell us, man, what's coming up next for you guys, man? What do you guys have planned next?
Well, we're working on new songs right now. We have a new bass player named Luke Strand, and he's a college guy. He goes to the Kendall Art of Design, the same school that Maynard from Tool went to, and he's a really cool dude. He's fitting in great with us. So what we're doing is we're adjusting our touring schedule. So in late spring, summer, we're going to be touring, and then we hope to record another album at the end of the summer.
Hell yeah!
After we've toured the fuck out of it on the road.
Fuck yeah!
And got the songs down.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just writing right now, man. There's going to be plenty more coming from us.
And the thing is, we used to tour 2 times a year, spring and fall, but we figured we're just going to have a long tour in the spring, late spring, early summer, and we're going to try to stay out of the southern states, where it's really hot. But the thing is it gives us more of a longer time to work on our writing and work on our repertoire and work on our music, and then take it on the road instead of taking it on the road 2 times a year. And from what we've known, and there's one thing, and this is a band that's hard to be in, and we tour a lot for who we are, and we think that takes a toll on our members. So we try to give them a break too,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah, man.
Like me and my brother, we don't care. We would spend 365 days on the road if we could, if it was feasible. We don't give a shit, because touring is our default. Being home is the weird thing.
Yeah, dude. You guys are fucking lifers, man.
I hate this normal shit.
Yeah.
Things don't make sense. Why do I have to be a job right at 7? Can I just be 10 minutes late?
Right.
Chill out, bro. Please, I'll fucking be there.
Yeah, we just want to know where do we load in and where do we set up at?
Hell
Where's
yeah.
the merch table go?
Hell yeah, goddammit. Fuck yeah, man.
Am I playing a show? No, all right, then bye.
So here's one thing, Zach. Here's what made it really easy for us to work with Tommy. As we wrote these songs and as we developed them, we were in constant contact with Tommy, because we already designated him. Look, he already agreed to produce and engineer the album.
Yeah, yeah.
So whenever we made breakthroughs on these songs, he got video of us playing, whether it was a live show, whether it was in the jam room. There was that communication all the time. So we went on the road with him several times, because I'm his backup drummer for when Dennis Reed can't make it. So not only do him and I play together, but he's seen us so many times, night after night. So he was no stranger to the set that had to be recorded. Mm-hmm. And I think that's an advantage that a lot of producers and engineers don't have.
Yeah, and that makes it real, and that makes it organic too,
Yeah.
Yeah, and one thing that I really like, though, is the fact that, like, our producer Tommy was actually into our music, and that's so important, dude. If you're going to have
absolutely,
if you're going to do a project, have everyone about your music, because then when you have someone recording your music that's not into it, they really ain't going to give a shit, and you're just going to get, and it just won't turn out good. Have people in your music work on your shit. Bottom line,
you damn straight,
and that's
man.
why I'm glad what we did with this one.
Damn straight, dude. Hell yeah. All right, guys. Well, I'm about out of questions for you, man. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
Yeah, I'd like to say that right now our album is in pre-sale at Black Doomba Records Bandcamp. There's 3 different vinyl variants: Stealth Black, Crazy Splatter Orange, and Super Swirly Marble Green. There's cool swag, special limited edition stickers, regular stickers, and a special limited edition 5x5 embroidered patch. So if you order that in pre-sale, go ahead and get it. And
one of those is going to have the strings that I used to record the songs with from my Schecter solo. I'm actually going to send the strings with one of the albums.
Sick. Hell yeah, dude.
So that'll be a little bonus for somebody.
Hell yeah. And you guys have another interview on Metal Devastation Radio tomorrow night with our DJ Lady Red. So fucking everybody out there listening right now, you better fucking tune in tomorrow night as well, motherfuckers, or I'm coming for you.
What's the time on that?
I don't know.
I think it's 6 p.m. Eastern.
Yeah.
It's standard, but I've got to check on that.
Whenever it gets dark, you better be tuned in to Metal Devastation Radio. That's all I got to say, man. Fucking.
When your grave next door, it's always dark.
Hell yeah. Well, before I let you guys go, can I get you to make us another station tag real quick?
This is Grave Next Door, and you're listening to the Zach Moonshine Show on Metal Devastation Radio.
Fuck yeah, man. Perfect, dude. I didn't even have to prompt you. He already knows. Hell yeah, man. We love you guys, man. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, dude. Really appreciate it.
Y'all good, man.
All right, man. Bye. We're going to blast some more Grave Next Door for these motherfuckers so they can go crazy, all right?
All right.
All right, man. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, peace.
Cheers. There you have it, folks. Grave Next Door live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking Radio, like I said earlier. Put your speakers in your windows. Put them in your front lawns. Put them in your neighbor's driveway. Do whatever you got to do, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, man, you have seriously got some problems, man. Like, what are you fucking afraid of, dude? Just crank it the fuck up. Loud as a fuck, man. Like, I got excavators next door tearing down houses because the motherfucker's getting out of here, man, because they can't handle it, dude. So, you know, do it, man. Crank it up. This is Grave Next Door.